All right, so we're already rolling. Hi, Dr. Monica. First of all, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to have you here. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Barkha. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, can you tell us from where are you joining us and how's the weather like there?
I am in US and it's quite cold right now, around 9 degrees maybe.
Wow, but we're just waiting for the, cold weather here because it's so humid and we're just struggling through. And of course, we would love to hear all about your journey now. So, before we start, your story is something that has been on my mind since we planned this conversation. I mean, you took over Navjivan Health Services at just 18, and not only did you keep it going, but you expanded it globally. So, how did you even wrap your head around that responsibility at such a young age?
See, I understand that it becomes quite difficult, and it is, of course, very intriguing for a normal human being to understand that how a person of 18 years of age can take the responsibility of such a huge organization. But well, my father passed away when I was just 18. So this was the one big reason that I had to take over this company. But my journey always, never the same. I started learning from the age of 5. This company was, in fact, started by my grandfather during the time of British
Oh,
rule. So I had a legacy of medicine in my family. And that is how inevitably my interests evolved. And I started taking interests in medicines, herbs, and yoga, of course, naturopathy as well, right from very beginning of my childhood. As you said, the journey wasn't that easy. At the age of 18, I was just higher secondary, not even being a graduate. So it was difficult monetarily. Of course, administration was not very much supportive at that time with me, but everything fell in place when I took over the responsibility. And see, challenges are always there, but it's all the way you take them and you go ahead.
true, true. I'm sure that must have been such an emotional journey for you, especially for all the expectations on your shoulder. And I think this is one of the reason I was so eager to have you on Talk Through Thursday, because your life is really like it shows how we can turn our personal losses into something that heals others. I mean, I'm sure our listeners are going to be so inspired as I am, of course, by hearing all about it and how you continue to spread that hope through Ayurveda. So it's really incredible and amazing how you just manage to take something so personal and challenging and turn it into a mission to heal and help others. And speaking of that mission, if we talk about it, you have devoted so much of your life to eradicating these deadly diseases, reaching out to people who really need hope. With such an immense responsibility on your shoulders, every single day, how do you stay grounded and how do you find that peace within yourself while constantly giving so much to others?
First thing which I learned from my family and, of course, my father was to stay grounded. You see, I am in a kind of profession where people are dealing with a lot of trauma, physically and mentally in both ways. And if a person whom they're approaching to heal themselves or to save their lives, and if that person carries that kind of ego or air in that
True.
personality, how would the other person who wants to get themselves healed, how will they come closer to a doctor? Basically what happens that they have to be open, they have to speak their heart out to the doctor.
You have to be
First of
comfortable
all,
around you. That
absolutely,
safe
absolutely.
space, of
And
course.
since I'm into the exports of medicines, so my 90% of my patients are online. It becomes more difficult on both the sides for having a trust factor. Plus, as well as if you talk about, I say that, as I said, the comfortability level, these all go in hand in hand.
That's great. That's great. And I can imagine that must be quite overwhelming at times, of course. But what really strikes me is how you have expanded Ayurvedic medicine to over 40 countries. I mean, that's huge and phenomenal. What keeps you pushing those boundaries? Like, what keeps your heart so deeply connected to your mission, to bringing healing to every household, making sure no one has to suffer? I mean, how's
See,
that?
this is what I told you that right from my childhood, I have been connected to my legacy. And the thing is, the basic thing is that I started at the age of 5. I started the learning at that time. And since then, I have been into the same particular arena that, yes, I have to heal people, I have to treat people. But at the same time, you see, as you said, that I'm connected to Ayurveda. I think it's in me. As soon as I took over the company at the age of 18, I felt that the kind of conditions I underwent and the kind of shortcomings and limitations I carried at that time, that actually transformed everything. It so helped that I felt that, in fact, my organization is nurturing me. Navjivan is nurturing me. I'm not nurturing it. So, what
Okay,
is the
it's
work of my
coming
organization?
around for
Yeah, it's the
you.
other way around. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So see, what is the work of my organization is to create medicines which are not available anywhere else. The treatments which are not available. For example, we are treating many chronic diseases like arthritis, diabetes, even in fact cancer. We have cured endless cases of sickle cell anemia, stomach cancer, spleen cancer, brain cancer as well, and moreover Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Yes, we are dealing in all these chronic diseases. So just imagine that if this is the work of my organization, it's a teamwork plus the legacy and the emotional and physical and spiritual input we are giving to that organization. So this is how everything together keeps me connected to it.
Wow. You know, that makes so much sense. And I think it resonates with so many people who believe real healing is personal. And I love that it's not just about curing illness for you, it's about truly transforming lives. And this is what we talk on Talk Through Thursday, always transforming lives and helping others. So, speaking of that, you've fought so many battles, not just as a physician, but as a woman, right? Carrying the weight of your family legacy. I can't help but wonder what advice would you give to young women out there today who are just fighting their own battles, trying to balance their dreams with expectations of tradition? How did you find that resilience through all these years, and what have helped you to be so strong and standing out there?
I always had one thing in my mind which have been inculcated into me by my family, of course, by my father, that people will come in your way. They will try to shake you, they will try to break you, and finally, they will try to take out your mental peace as well. So it's the way you have to deal with them. And dealing comes in a psychological way. It is your mindset, how you perceive the things which other people are saying to you, which other
True.
people are creating for you. If there are any obstacles which have been created for me, I felt that I had to deal with them accordingly. It is not that I have to give up in a way, because see, I had a huge, I wouldn't say that it was a burden. Generally, people feel that it's a burden if you're carrying a huge legacy and a big organization to work on. I was only higher secondary pass. I took a sabbatical for at least 5, 6 years from my studies. After that, I started my graduation. But at that time, if I would have stopped studying, I would have not thought of, grasping knowledge, or I would have not thought of taking, myself to that heights, or I would have thought that I should study before, then taking over this organization, then it would have been a biggest mistake from my side. So it's all that how your mindset works. So as far as the females of today's era, and women, those who are not able to manage, first of all, not able to manage, not able to come out of their own stigma or their own homes, or actually, we all have some problems. We all are suffering within ourselves. We are not thinking out of the box because people around us don't let us think out of the box.
Yeah.
They make us feel that you are dedicated to one room, you are there who you cannot do anything in this world.
True.
Now, if I would give you an example of women, we are 48% in India.
Yes.
Out of that, 30% are in rural areas and 18% are in urban areas.
True.
So just imagine what would be the condition of females who are in rural areas.
Good.
Are
Of
they able
course.
to come out? Only few of them can, the exceptional cases which we've come to see about it. Mostly those who are tribals, mostly those who are staying in the very, you see, the inner parts of villages, those who don't even know about their rights.
Yeah.
How are
Lack
they?
of knowledge which
Of
is
course,
there.
those who don't get the knowledge, those who don't get education, those who don't even know that how to deal with the things. So there is that kind of strata as well. But every woman has a zeal, has a zing in herself, whether she's educated or not, whether it's a matter of taking up any big responsibility or taking over an organization, or it's a political aspect, or it's, or even if a mother at home also, she also carries, a wife also carries a very huge responsibility. So every female has that one thing in her which she should know, she should admire, and she should realize that she has that in her. This will bring more resilience into her.
I
So
mean,
try
I
to
must.
understand. The only message I would like to give, that try to understand who you are. You have to introspect yourself. You have to know that who you are, and then it'll, of course, that you'll be able to give more affection, care, and love to people around you, and to the society as well. And you can, of course, bring up yourself so well in whatever stage you are. But never
Definitely.
give up. Never give up.
That's such
Because
a beautiful way to look at it, no? It's not just about our body, but the mind, the spirit, and the community, of course.
it comes,
And I think,
everything is
yeah,
amalgamated. It comes together. It's a proper package, I would say.
definitely. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of us could use more of the thinking of that today. And before we wrap things up, what I find particularly beautiful about your work, Dr. Monica, is that it's not just about health, it's about unity, peace, brotherhood,
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
we desperately need in the world today, right? With everything so often divided, how do you like envision using your platform both through Ayurveda and your role with the National Unity and Security Council to bring people together? Like, what does peace mean to you on that deeply personal journey?
See, as far as the peace is concerned, brotherhood and national unity is concerned, and how you want me to blend it with my holistic approach of my profession, that is Ayurveda. First of all, Ayurveda stands for one thing, that is a science of body, soul, and mind. So we have been practicing psychology from past maybe 80,000 years. Ayurveda, though, has been written 5,000 years before, like, but it was been practiced around 80,000 years
Back.
prior to this. Yes,
Oh,
which is not actually known to everyone. See, when we had Bharata community who came to India, that is how our country got the name Bharat.
okay.
And they started practicing Ayurveda. But the Ayurveda which has been actually written, the Vedas, were been, you see, these sayings, the hymns, and all these shlokas were being written by that community, which has been compiled later on into the Vedas, like Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Ayurveda, Dharma Veda, like that.
Before
So,
Vedas.
so the Ayurveda has been practiced since then. Even the Shalya Chikitsa, what we call surgery, is also being practiced is quite, long before, which people actually do not know. So we are the oldest religion. We are the oldest science of medicine. Now coming to body and mind and soul, the amalgamation, the joining of these three things together, of course, brings peace to everyone. So if a person is peaceful from within, that person will, of course, radiate that peace, that happiness outside also. While looking towards so much going these days, nationally and internationally, I believe that, of course, peace is one thing which is really required. But before peace, these people, all of us, maybe you, me, everyone, we require good mental health.
I
Good
agree.
mental health,
Totally agree with you on
because
that.
when you are having a good mental health, when you are psychologically really great, you are feeling good, so of course you will bring better options, you will bring better positivity. You will, of course, think and talk about positive things then rather than thinking about negative things. So that is the only reason I have been pressing a lot these days to government of India as well, to amalgamate and to start the subject in the as a curriculum in the primary school of India.
Oh,
Every
wow.
child should learn psychology as per their age and grades. And by the time they turn into the adolescents and then they go for the professional courses or whatever they choose later in their life, it becomes very helpful for them. Not only it will help them in choosing their life, choosing their better career, but of course it will be really good for our nation and country as well, because they'll be more resilient, they'll be more helpful, they'll be more, worthy in working every aspect. So this is what I've been pressing. Let's see how soon this happens. So
Oh,
these two
wow.
perspectives, what I'm taking ahead is like one, they should of course include Ayurveda, hygiene, and physiology into the curriculum from the primary school kids, and as well as psychology. And more of the teacher trainings and all these things are of course in row. But still, as coming back to your question, that yes, how I'm joining them. So I have already given my answer that, of course, Ayurveda and unity and peace are, of course, hand in glove, but it's only the way of thinking and the way of perceiving and the way we look at these things.
Your
So,
efforts, 10 on 10, and hats off to you for that. Wow, it's
thank
amazing. And I think we could go on for hours with your story, of course. There's so much depth and passion behind everything you're doing for everybody out there. So, honestly, I've learned so much today, and I'm sure everyone watching feels the same. But before we wrap up, I want to ask you last one thing. Given everything you've shared, what's that
yes.
one message you'd like for people to like take away with them, especially those who are trying to find hope and healing in their own personal lives?
I would give a message that do never give up. Don't give up ever. You have a life ahead you, and it comes only for one time. So be happy from within. There is happiness all around you. And it's you are picky, so choose happiness over sadness, because if you will feel good, you will of course bring goodness and happiness to others as well. But for yourself, you have to change your mindset,
Yeah,
and
and it
that
starts with
only
one thought, I guess.
one thought only, and that you can help yourself. Nobody's going to come from outside and help you for that.
True. Agreed.
It's your introspection that you have to think. If you are in some problem or some health problem or some mental problem, it's your mental block.
Definitely.
You have to think rationally and positively.
That's such a powerful thought. And I love how your mission isn't just about curing diseases, but really about creating a world where people feel connected, healthy, and at peace, of course. So, all right, I think we'll just end it up on a beautiful note, like you just mentioned, with one thought we can change our lives. Thank you so much again, Dr. Monica, for joining us on Talk Through Thursday. It's been such an honor talking to you. I
Thank you
mean,
so much, Barkha. It was wonderful having you here.
thank you. And I know this conversation is going to stay with us for a long time now. And for everybody who's watching, make sure you subscribe and share this episode, especially if you know like someone who needs a little extra inspiration today. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Barkha. It was
So much
wonderful
for
talking to you.
joining.